It turned out that the old man, who could not be heard from in Rize for 171 days and was killed in the program of Müge Anlı broadcast on ATV, was killed because of 5,000 liras in his pocket. Yasin Şanal, one of the 4 people referred to the courthouse in the disappearance of Dursun Zehir, 75, who left his daughter Fatma Bekar's house in Pazar district on October 6 last year and was never heard from again, confessed to the murder he committed. Suspected murderer Yasin Şanal, who stated that he was instigated by Dursun Zehir's grandson Kerim Bekar, said that he killed Zehir for 5,000 liras in his pocket. The taxi driver, Serkan Yogurtku, who is mentioned in the incident, is not related to the incident. He only helped Kerim Bekar in a different issue in which he wanted to take a loan so that he could place bets on a virtual website. He stated that Yasin Şanal may have killed him. While the taxi driver Serkan Yogurtku, who was transferred to the Pazar courthouse after his proceedings at the police station, was released by the court on duty, NSG was released pending trial on the condition of judicial control. Yasin Şanal, who confessed to killing Dursun Zehir, and Kerim Bekar, Zehir's grandson, were also arrested and sent to prison. On the other hand, the body of Dursun Zehir, whose search continues with a construction machine on the beach, police divers in the sea and a cadaver dog in the breakwater, has not been found yet. Kerim say aid to me, collect the money, we will share. Saying that Dursun Zehir's grandson Kerim wanted him to kill his grandfather and said that he would have money in his pocket, 24-year-old Yasin Şanal said, I saw Kerim Bekar in an internet cafe on April 10, 2021 in the morning. He came to me while I was outside smoking a cigarette. He owes me a lot. He said, I asked my family for money, but they didn't give me money. He asked me for money, when I didn't give it, he asked my father for 50 TL. My father also did not give, but he ordered food. He said he asked for money. He said, I said I owe it, I will pay it. He said we will take my grandfather out of the internet cafe there, my grandfather has money, we will share it. We even talked about these issues on the beach on Sunday. To meet Dursun Zehir the next day. I went to Naci Atabey Park for the ceremony. Kerim told me that Dursun Zehir would come here. He said, my grandfather has money, let's divide it. My grandfather said, get up on the handrails, don't leave any evidence. That's why when I met Dursun Zehir, Kerim asked Dursun Zehir, are you an uncle, she asked. I asked. Does Kerim owe you money, said. Aforementioned. I said, yes, he owes me. If I remember correctly, I said about 200 TL, but my main goal was to get 5,000 TL on it. Kerim told me that Dursun Zehir had 5,000 TL on him. First hit his head, then divides it into 5 pieces with a saw. Explaining how he killed Dursun Zehir, Şanal said, come to Uncle Dursun, let's take a walk with you. I took him by the arm and we walked towards the lighthouse together. He didn't say anything like, why did we come here? He was leaving. Kerim was constantly talking about asking me for money. I hit him on the head with a stone I took from there to knock him unconscious and I pulled him towards the well where the lighthouse is. I went back there and to the airport construction site and tried to get the saw there. Then I went to the place where Dursun Zehir was. First I took off my clothes. Then I took off Dursun Zehir's jacket. I took it out and took 5,000 TL. He took the phone out of his left front pocket from his right pocket. Then, with the saw in my hand, I first cut off his left leg above the knee with the pants, then cut off his right leg above the knee. His arm is under his shoulder. I also cut off his left shoulder from under his shoulder. I didn't separate his body and head. Kerim Park leave a waste bag before the event. Stating that Dursun Zehir's grandson Kerim put garbage bags in the bushes in the park and threw the corpse into the sea 2 days before the incident, Şanal said, I came again. After taking the garbage bags that Kerim left under the bushes in the park 2 days ago, he said, the pieces of the corpse. I put it in the bag in the form of 5 bags and threw it into the sea with stones one by one without using a rope. From her mouth. I watched the sacks slowly sink to the bottom of the sea for about 5 to 6 minutes, he said. Gives Kerim half the money and his father's phone. Adding that Dursun Zehir gave half of the money he took from his pocket and phone to his grandson Kerim, Şanal said, after the incident, I went home and took a bath and went to the lighthouse to get Dursun Zehir's jacket again. After I got the jacket, I talked to Kerim and told Kerim. I told him that I gave him my cell phone and my jacket with 2,500 TL. Kerim asked me, "What did you do? Did you leave any evidence behind you?" he asked. When I asked him, I told him what had happened and we broke up. Stating that the reason why the corpse of Dursun Zehir, which he killed, was not where he left it, might be that Kerim wanted to bury his grandfather somewhere else. Şanal said, with Kerim's provocation, "I killed Dursun Zehir to get the money from Dursun. Poison. I told him I broke him and threw him into the sea." He said, "Where is my grandfather? I will bury my grandfather in the oak tree next to the tea factory in Tasladır. Accept the accusation against me. I am sorry for the incident. There is no information." I gave the phone to Kerim. After my mother's death, I was treated at Ataköy Mental and Neurological Diseases Hospital due to psychological problems. I am currently on a heavy psychological drug. I had hallucinations at the police station last night, he said. Yasin wanted money, I say aid, I'll give it in the park. Kerim Bekar, grandson of Dursun Zehir, who did not accept the crime of provocation, stated that, contrary to what Yasin Şanal said, Yasin Şanal asked him for money and said, Yasin Şanal, whom I met online for 2 years, paid me 50 TL in a cafe in Pazar district on April 10, 2021. I said no, but if I get it from my grandfather, I can give it, and when we met at the internet cafe on Tuesday, I said I can give the money, but that evening I went to the internet cafe. I was going to give it to him, there was a money issue between us. My grandfather was also angry with me, he said. Bekar, who also said that he went to the police station for the first time regarding the disappearance of his grandfather Dursun Zehir, said, I told my grandfather that I owed my friend Yasin that evening, that's why I would pay my debt in the park. He did not ask me about this. He left the house in the morning without saying anything to me. My grandfather also left the house. Half an hour and 40 minutes after he left, I dressed and checked my grandfather at home and went out. After I left the house, I played games in the internet cafe until 12:30. After my mother called and said that my grandfather was not at home, I looked at my grandfather's friends' shops. After playing games until 13:30, my mother called me again and said, we can't find your grandfather, call your grandfather. We left the internet cafe and looked at the same friends' shops again. Then my mother called again and said go to the police. I went to the police station at around 16:50. Is there anyone near the creek when they asked me to come? I left the police station. I told my mother about this situation and said that they had made a statement that 24 hours had to pass, and then you could come and post a missing persons notice. When we couldn't find my grandfather, we came to the police station the next day to declare him missing. I learned that Yasin killed my grandfather on the TV program. Stating that he learned that Yasin Şanal had killed his grandfather in the program, Bekar said, I learned that Yasin killed my grandfather on the TV show we were looking for. A friend of mine called me and told me. I have never met a person named Yasin Şanal on the beach. Yasin did not give me my grandfather's money, phone, jacket. I didn't come out either. There are no garbage bags in the park. I didn't threaten him either. Because I thought my grandfather left us, she said. Big Kerim did not accept with one criminal attack. Bekar, who did not accept the statements he trapped me directed by Yasin Şanal to him, said, I remember that Yasin won 5,000 TL from an internet game 2 months after the incident and then came to the internet cafe with his suitcase. He made statements such as, I am going to Istanbul. According to, I spoke to NS. However, I remember Yasin through my phone at NS. Yasin talked to NS on my phone. After the incident, the reason I was able to take a taxi and stay at the hotel was the $10,000 I found at my grandfather's house in Irakli. Do it after my grandfather's murder. NS. I don't know either. Taxi driver Serkan Yogurtku has nothing to do with this incident. I do not accept the accusation against me. Yasin is constantly trying to lure us in.